So what do you be saying to this little girlfriend?
We don't be saying nothing. We be going at each other. We say hi.
You be what?
We be going at each other. We say hi. Every morning is.
Every morning? You talk to her every morning?
Yeah, I gotta play with her anyways.
You gotta play with her every morning?
Yep.
Do you play with any other girls?
Kind of.
Kind of.
Yeah. Not.
This is not a game. Your actions affect innocent people in our community. There's no place for you in our city, in our community. And if you don't change your lifestyle, JSO will not rest until you are off of our streets and the good people of this city are free from your terror. We're going to come for you. That's a promise. We won't rest and we will not tire. You will be held accountable.
This is the story of Breon Allen Jr., a bright and beloved 7-year-old boy whose life was stolen in an act of senseless violence. Known for his infectious smile and talent on the football field, Breon was simply walking with his cousin when a car pulled up and gunmen opened fire. He wasn't the intended target, just an innocent child caught in the crossfire of a long-standing gang feud. Who could unleash such brutality on a child? And how deep does this web of violence go? As his grieving mother fights to keep his name alive and justice is pursued, the truth behind this devastating tragedy unfolds. Welcome to Viral Crimes. Subscribe and hit the bell icon for more stories. This story takes us to Jacksonville, Florida, a city known for its sprawling riverfront and deep ties to football. But beneath the sunny skies and bustling streets, Jacksonville has also faced a harsh reality of gang violence that has torn through communities and claimed innocent lives. In this city, one little boy was already on his way to making a name for himself before his life was tragically cut short. Breon Allen Jr. was known as Deucey by his loved ones. He was born to Kashina Love and Breon Allen Sr. He had 5 siblings and from an early age, Breon had a natural charisma that drew people to him. He was bright and full of energy. Football was his passion. Even at just 7 years old, Breon was already well known in Jacksonville's youth football scene, impressing coaches, teammates, and spectators with his undeniable talent. He had speed, agility, and a competitive spirit that made him stand out on the field. His stats spoke for themselves, earning him recognition as a rising star in the sport. But beyond his skills, Breon was a leader, encouraging his teammates, showing sportsmanship, and playing with a joy that made the game even more special. Off the field, Breon was just as remarkable. He was a kind and loving child who adored his family. His mother, Kashina, described him as a very happy child, always eager to make people laugh and brighten their day. Whether he was cracking jokes, helping his younger siblings, or simply being his playful self, Breon had a way of making those around him feel special. His bond with his parents and siblings was unbreakable, and he was deeply loved by everyone who knew him. In school, Breon was a bright student with a curious mind. He had big dreams, and despite his young age, he already had the determination to chase them. His teachers saw him as a student full of potential, someone who could do great things in life. Breon's story is one of joy, love, and talent. A boy who had a whole future ahead of him, one filled with touchdowns, laughter, and the promise of greatness. But fate had other plans, and the young boy lost his life to a senseless incident on January 24, 2025 in Jacksonville, Florida. It was a quiet evening when 7-year-old Breon stepped out of a home on Commonwealth Avenue in Jacksonville, Florida, alongside his cousin, 21-year-old Lafayette Mango. The two were simply going about their day, likely with no idea that their lives were about to change forever. In an instant, a black Kia Soul pulled up and chaos erupted. Gunfire filled the air as multiple shooters emerged from the car, targeting their victims with both handguns and rifles. Innocent and unaware, Breon was caught in the line of fire. The sound of gunshots shattered the calm, leaving the community shaken. When the gunfire ceased, Breon lay critically injured. He and Lafayette were rushed to the hospital, but the damage had been done. Breon didn't survive. His death sent shockwaves through the city. A 7-year-old child had been brutally gunned down in what investigators quickly determined to be a targeted attack, yet he had been nothing more than an innocent bystander. Authorities wasted no time in seeking justice. Within weeks, the Jacksonville Sheriff's Office arrested 4 men in connection with the shooting: 18-year-old Keith Fields, 20-year-old Daniel Larkins, 21-year-old Keith Johnson, and 24-year-old Gerard Sykes. Investigators identified them as either gang members or associates of the gang known as 6 Block.
A feud between two local gangs linked to a 7-year-old's tragic death in Jacksonville. That's according to new information from the Jacksonville Sheriff's Office. Breon Allen Jr. was shot and killed in the Commonwealth neighborhood on Jacksonville's west side back in January.
And now police say the crime is related to last year's murder of Charles Jones, a Jacksonville rapper known as Julio Foolio. Jones was ambushed during his birthday celebration in Tampa last June. This is the shocking surveillance video from that night when Jones fled as a group chased him with guns in the parking lot of a Holiday Inn. Police say Jones is driving the black sedan while that group runs him down and fires multiple shots at the car. Both Allen's and Jones' deaths gained lots of attention statewide, with a reward of up to $25,000 once offered in the 7-year-old's case. And these are the 4 men in custody in Allen's case, each facing second-degree murder, conspiracy to commit murder, and attempted first-degree murder charges. News4Jax reporter Alicia Hatcher digging through the documents to find how JSO made these arrests.
These are the 4 arrest warrants of the man connected to the death of Breon Allen Jr. and injuring his cousin Lafayette Mango Jr. These documents give great detail into how the Jacksonville Sheriff's Office connected these 4 men to this case to make an arrest.
In the warrants, investigators explain the 4 men are members or associates of the group 6 Block, and the shooting that took Allen's life was motivated to the purpose to benefit, promote, and or further the interests of the criminal gang. Allen's cousin Mango is a documented gang associate of the group ATK, according to police. Investigators say an ongoing feud between the 2 gangs led to the death of Charles Jones, also known as Julio Foolio, last year. Following Jones's death, Mango released a song called 6 Ways to Die, featuring another rapper who police say is also a gang member of ATK. In the song, Mango disses several 6 Block members who have died and references a photo that members of a 6 Block took at a gravesite.
This brings us to the day Allen lost his life. After the shooting took place, a witness called 911 and told them that they saw the suspects flee the scene in a black car.
From there, investigators began canvassing the area, recovering video from nearby businesses. Hours later, they found the suspect's car, which was a black Kia where a BMW met them after the shooting. Investigators searched the black Kia where they found a match to the spent rifle casings found at the scene. The following day, detectives requested cell phone data from the location of the murder and where the black Kia was found. Records revealed the data showed the 4 suspects were at both locations. Detectives also learned that the BMW involved belonged to one of the suspects' family members.
Cell phone data and video surveillance connected the 4 men accused of Allen's death at the scene of the shooting. JSO says more arrests could be expected in this case.
Jacksonville sheriff gave a passionate update to the public on the arrests of the 4 men.
So good afternoon. I'm Sheriff T.K. Waters, and today, along with members of JSO's homicide unit, I announce the arrests of Keith Johnson, Donnell Larkins, Gerard Sykes, and Keith Fields for the January 24th shooting that tragically ended the young life of 7-year-old Breon Allen Jr. That shooting also seriously injured Lafayette Mango. The detectives standing with me have worked tirelessly to build the cases that have led to these arrests. These suspects have all been arrested for second-degree murder, conspiracy to commit murder, and attempted second-degree murder. At 24, 20, and 18 years of age, respectively, Sykes, Larkins, and Fields are all documented gang members. Johnson is a 21-year-old documented gang associate. On the screens behind me, you'll see them being walked over this morning to be charged. 2 days after this tragic event, I visited with Breon Allen Jr.'s grieving parents. And during that meeting, I promised them that this agency would do everything in its power to bring the perpetrators of this senseless and horrific violent crime to justice. And we've only just begun. This is an ongoing investigation, so there's very little that I will share about the facts and the circumstances of this case. But what I can tell you is this. This murder was a culmination of escalating violence between 2 rival street gangs, or street groups. It was a targeted, planned act, one with which during the murders clearly saw Breon walking innocently with the intended target, Lafayette Mango. With these arrests, the first chips fall in this investigation, but they won't be the last. there are other individuals who planned and participated in this heinous act. We know who they are, and our investigators are building strong evidentiary cases against those perpetrators. They will be arrested, and they will face the justice system. I want to take this opportunity to speak directly to those who continue to use violence to glorify violence in our community. This is not a game. Your actions affect innocent people in our community. There's no place for you in our city, in our community. And if you don't change your lifestyle, JSO will not rest until you are off of our streets and the good people of this city are free from your terror. We're going to come for you. That's a promise. We won't rest, and we will not tire. You will be held accountable. To Breon Allen Jr.'s parents, this agency stands with you. Jacksonville stands with you. This community will not submit to brutality. The loss of one life is one life too many, especially one as precious as Breon's. Now's the time for accountability.
2 more individuals were arrested in the death of Breon.
Tonight at 5, Jacksonville police announced today that 2 more arrests have been made in connection to the murder of 7-year-old Breon Allen Jr. Sheriff T.K. Waters announced the arrest of Dante McGee and Tavares Kelly this afternoon. Both of them are 17 years old.
Just a few weeks ago, police announced the arrests of 18-year-old Keith Fields, 20-year-old Donnell Larkins, 21-year-old Keith Johnson, and 24-year-old Zarad Sykes. During a news conference, Sheriff Waters said McGee and Kelly are believed to be the shooters who carried out that brutal act.
Completely unnecessary, completely horrible, and should never, ever happen to anyone in our community, especially a young child, 7 years old.
That was Jacksonville Sheriff T.K. Waters' comment after announcing the arrest of 17-year-old Dante McGee and Tavares Kelly. These 2 arrests bring the total number of individuals in custody to 6, all involved in the tragic death of 7-year-old Breon Allen Jr. Back in January, Allen and his cousin Lafayette Mango Jr. were walking out of a home when a car pulled up. People then got out and started shooting. Mango is a known gang member. Mango and Allen were taken to the hospital where Allen passed away. For Allen's family, the road to healing remains long and painful.
Seeing their face up there at 17 years old is just crazy. Like, I don't even know how to feel right now. But I'm glad, that they were arrested and they're gonna be tried. I mean, at the end of the day, my baby was a baby. He was 7. And I honestly have no remorse for them.
One of the juveniles, Tavares Kelly, I know his father. Grew up with his father. I don't know his son personally, but, just looking at them boys' pictures in their eyes, that could have been my son. They babies to, almost looking at my own boys. I got 4 boys myself. And to be so close to home like that, somebody I knew that grew up across the street from my grandma's house, it hit me hard.
Did you expect these many arrests in his case?
No. I said before, I thought it was only gonna be like 2, maybe 2 or 3 people. But to find out that it's 6 and then they all kids, haven't even experienced life yet, that's what's crazy. If they just would let my baby live, then I would have been satisfied with just that. I would have gave my life for him. But unfortunately, it didn't happen that way.
Several families' lives changed forever. I asked Waters how they were able to make these 2 arrests, and he said that they worked around the clock to make this case strong enough for trial.
The arrests brought a sense of relief, but also shock for Breon's family. Sheriff Waters described them as the actual gunmen who carried out this horrific and brutal shooting. With these arrests, a total of 6 suspects were now in custody, all facing charges of second-degree murder, conspiracy to commit murder, and attempted first-degree murder. While justice was unfolding, the pain of Breon's loss remained unbearable for his family. Kashina and Breon Sr. vowed to attend every court proceeding, determined to see those responsible brought to justice. The court case was expected to be lengthy, but the family was ready to fight for their son. Breon's funeral was an emotional event, filled with sorrow and remembrance. His mother started a GoFundMe campaign to help with expenses, as well as to provide for his siblings, who were also grieving the loss of their beloved brother. Community rallied behind the family, showing an outpouring of support as they tried to navigate life without Breon. Even with the arrests, the investigation remained active. Sheriff Waters made it clear that law enforcement was not done. There are other individuals who planned and participated in this heinous act. We know who they are, and our investigators are building strong evidentiary cases against those perpetrators. They will be arrested, they will face the justice system. The sheriff's words gave the family a sliver of hope that no one involved in their son's death would escape accountability. Beyond the legal battles, Breon's family focused on keeping his memory alive. Say his name every day, post him every day, talk about it every day. Just keep his name alive and just, be expecting things, to see things in his name, because I'm definitely going to turn this into a positive situation, Kashina said, determined to ensure that her son's story would not be forgotten. The broader community and city leaders also weighed in on the tragedy. Jacksonville Mayor Donna Deegan released a statement condemning the heartless violence and urging the public to come forward with any information. Our city mourns the heartbreaking loss of a 7-year-old boy whose life was tragically taken in a senseless shooting. This heartless violence has absolutely no place in our city. Chris Peyton Jones of the St. Louis Battlehawks also honored Breon Allen. As a tribute to Allen, who was from his hometown, Peyton Jones wore custom cleats in his honor. In the weeks following Breon's murder, authorities intensified their efforts to dismantle gang activity in Jacksonville. A neighbor who witnessed the shooting described the terrifying scene. There were 2 people coming out of a black vehicle. The passenger looked to have a shotgun, and the driver looked like he had a handgun. They were opening fire on what looked like 2 or 3 individuals. I've lived here for almost a year, and I've never seen or heard anything like that. As the court proceedings moved forward, Breon's parents braced themselves for the long and painful journey ahead. While no verdict could ever bring back their son, they remained hopeful that the individuals responsible for his death would face the full weight of the justice system. For now, the fight for justice continues. 6 individuals are behind bars, but the case is far from over. The tragic death of Breon Allen should never have occurred. This senseless violence, fueled by gang-related feuds, robbed a young life and shattered the hearts of his family and loved ones. My condolences to Breon's friends and family. May you continue to heal and one day find peace. Thanks for watching, and I will see you in the next video.